Hello there. My name is Jason Nucciaroni, and thank you for coming to my IST 261 final project code execution and walkthrough. As I've said in my other videos here, my IDE of choice for the class is IntelliJ IDA. It's what I've been using for the entire class here. So I'm not going to dilly-dally too much here. Just going to get right into it. So going to go right up to my green little arrow here, click it, run main. Takes a couple seconds, but it should be ready to go. Alright, and then here is my ROARbot GUI. So similar from before, I didn't change too much, didn't have any midlife crisis or anything, but the IDE or my code is still able to extract the values from the user. So like, let's say here, I need help using a command. And then ROARbot will say, what command are you trying to use? And then I could say, I'm trying to use grep. So we'll do that. And then the one thing that is different from now is that this conversation takes another turn. So it has the ability to retrieve documentation for me. So I could say yes or no. And so here I'm going to say yes, please. And then that's going to save that to my work directory. So if I just open my file explorer here, you'll see it's saved right here. So if I double click on that, pop open the documentation here, just all that good info. So I pulled that down. So I'll close that here, shrink this, and then restart my code execution again. Alright, and now, as same as last time, we're also able to write PBS scripts. So I need help writing a PBS script. And then it'll just walk me through the dialogue that we had last time. So I'll just say, oh, I'm using bash. And then it'll say what allocation. I'll just say like WFF3. Just put in some random value here. Standard core default. Just hit that. And then how many nodes I need? 2. How many processors do I need? Well, let's just say I need 10 here. And then how much memory per processor do you think you need? I'll just say like 10 gigabytes. Right, put that in here. And then how long do you think your job needs to run? I'll say it'll take 10 hours, so I'll just put that in. Okay, and then would I like to receive an email when the job begins? I'll say yes. Alright, awesome. It just needs my email, so I'll give it my PSU email here. And then, alright, would you look at that? I wrote out my PBS script, so it says it saved it to work, ROARbot script.pbs. So if I open it here, there it is. So I'll open this here. And then the contrast is kind of terrible, like in the last video, but I'll just highlight it here. You'll see that everything that I wrote in the ROARbot script here is also present in the chatbot dialog here. So I'll close out of this and then close this. And then for my, I actually have 2 more intents here that I'm going to demonstrate. The next one is going to be troubleshoot. So I'll wait for this to pop open. Alright. I need help troubleshooting. Oh no, copy and paste. I will see. Alright, so I actually got to re-navigate here, but if I go to documents, IST261 code, IST2 final project, text files, troubleshoot, then I'll go to error. I'll just copy and paste this real quick. Right, close that, and then shrink out of this. And then if I just click on that, copy and paste it in, bam, there you go. Alright, so the last thing I want to demonstrate, this is a new intent that I added because of the ability to fetch documentation. So I'm just going to run this here. Okay, so actually give me a second, let me close this. Sorry, just getting readjusted. Places, home. Alright. Okay, so then the final thing I said is that you can extract documentation. So I could be like, how do I use the cat command? then it'll say, oh, here you go. And then it says, I have some documentation available. Would you like me to fetch it for you? I could be like, oh, no, I don't want that. And then ROARbot will say, you got it. If you ever want more documentation for cat in the future, just ask me, grab me the documentation for cat. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to copy and paste this. So just the old reliable Control-C, Control-V, then I'll say that. And then it's like, you got it. I saved the documentation for cat in your work directory as cat.pdf. And now if I open it, there it is. So I'll just click it, pop that open, and would you look at all that? All that beautiful PDF, man pages, everything. All right, so I'm just going to close out of this real quick, and I'm going to go just kind of walk through my code, describe what I changed here. So if I go to language understander, I actually didn't change much here. The only thing I added was the new intent. So you kind of see here the fetch documentation, kind of see the keywords here. So for fetch doc, it's retrieve for me doc man pages, and then same thing, just building all the array list, So I got like the pulling from the, see if I go to the troubleshoot.db, I'm pulling from troubleshoot.db here, then I loop through all the, the user input, and basically I analyze, okay, does it have any of the keywords that I've specified here? And if it does, set now input text is now use command break, now input text fetch document, write PBS, and then at the end here it says if it contains username, return true, and then if it doesn't, return false. So yeah, so that was pretty simple. If I go over to the dialog manager here, nothing much changed here either, except for the fact that I added the provide doc, no doc clause to dialog manager. So now every time a user asks, okay, how do I use like a command, let's say tar in this case, ROARbot will know to follow up with, okay, do I ask for if they want a doc, and then do I provide the doc, do I trigger that action, or do I return no doc because the user doesn't want it? And then the fetch documentation, pretty simple, it's just get doc, ask doc, so it's like, okay, what command do you need documentation for, and then the return dot get doc. So yeah, if I keep going here, much of the write PBS didn't change. Then if I go to use command, pretty similar here, so I didn't really touch anything here. I just kind of fleshed out the rest of the command. So if I click on the command.db database, I should see, yeah, let me see here. I'll just pull this open real quick. Yeah, there we go. It's taking forever, I don't know why. Oh, it's querying. Yep, so you see here I got all the PDF, the command blurb too, so it sees I fleshed out the rest of the command, so I'll close out of this real quick. Sorry about that. Alright, and then so you'll see there that I added that, and then if I go write PBS, everything's the same here. I got this giant if-else block here that kind of helps walk through the whole interactive dialogue with the user. So that's like the, okay, so you're writing the PBS script, what do we already have and what do we still need? To just kind of make sure that the PBS script follows that, nice, clean, interactive dialogue, the intents don't get screwed up. So then if I go to troubleshoot Java, nothing much changed here. I'm still pulling down from the database, the troubleshoot database. I got this here. Yep, you see that. It just has some common problems that users face in there, and then it pulls it down, and then you see with the pair integer, that's more so that I can, when I go to pull the response that I want to use, I can just use the integer instead of trying to pair the string, a lot more accurate. Yeah, and then if you see here, I have the fetch documentation intent, so I just pop this open. So I get pretty much the same thing as use command. The only thing that's different is that the result.put, so instead of putting it as just command, it puts it as doc command. That's just so that use command and fetch documentation don't end up stepping on each other's toes. So yeah, that's pretty nice. And then yeah, and then I go into response generator, so that's pretty much the same. The one thing that I changed here is for the use command intent. I think it's here. I now pop open the database. If it says now conversational action equals or provide doc, that's basically, okay, the user wants the documentation. So you'll see here that I connect to the database, and then I kind of prepare my statement. The one thing is that I actually have the PDF saved as blobs, so what I do here is then I convert the PDF back to a blob, and then I create the new PDF file using the file class, and then new file.isFile, and then I use the file output stream class to write the binary code, or write the binary. I write it out and it becomes that PDF. So that's really nice. And then I kind of did the same thing for fetch command, or fetch documentation here. So I just kind of pretty much copy and pasted the code. Same thing, just kind of connects to that database, that commands.db over here, and then it just, it grabs the PDF, it grabs the blob, and then it just writes out the bytes. So yeah, so if I just go run my IDE again, or run my, keep messing them up, my program here, my chatbot, if I go say fetch me documentation, and then I can be like, sure, I can help you look for some documentation. Just tell me the command you are looking for, and I'll see if I have any documentation for it. So you see there, that conversation is taking the extra turn, asking to extract some data. So I could be like, less. So I'll just type less. I'll do that, and I say, you got it. I save the documentation for less in your work directory as less.pdf. So if I go back to my file explorer here, just pop that open it here, go to my work directory, and you'll see it here. Pop that open again. I'm really proud of these PDFs, so I like to show them off. But yeah, all that good less goodness. You can use less for like literally everything, so there's like a whole bunch of pages. But I'm really impressed though. The footprint's pretty small in the database, so I'm really happy about that. But yeah, so that being said, thank you for coming to my code execution. I really appreciate it. I had a lot of fun, kind of finishing up the final project here for my midpoint. Really it was fun to kind of work with blobs in Java. I always did them in Python a lot, but Python was very convoluted because it's like you have to write to like temp on the operating system, and then you have to like write the binary. But with Java here, you just use the file output stream, which is pretty neat. So yeah, just kind of going back to it here, just byte array, just get bytes, pull all the bytes, and then just use file output stream to write the bytes. So yeah, I mean, it's really nice. So yeah, once again, thank you for coming to my code execution. Really appreciate it. And I hope you have a good morning or / evening, depending on the time that you're watching this video. Thank you.